We kindle this flame as a symbol of our gathering. May the light of understanding illuminate our darkness, and may the warmth of sharing bring us peace. Good morning, welcome. I'm Reverend Ron Phares, and this is North Shore Unitarians of Canada's Sunday service. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms and all you children of moms, and to our mutual mother, Gaia. It's kind of funny. I like Mother's Day, but I don't see it as a particularly religious holiday. So rarely do I center it on its Sunday every year. But I gotta say, 2 Mother's Days plus COVID isolation has me thinking twice about that. I just feel so far away from everything. So Mom, if you're listening, watching, happy Mother's Day to you. I'll call you later. Last week, I spoke about how a change in our feeling of our identity might help us feel ever more in personal relation with our world. So that shift in identity is kind of a cure for loneliness, among other things. And I feel that's also somehow related to Mother's Day, when so many families have not been able to be together for so long. To the dissolution of that loneliness and that mindset, later this morning, we will conduct an experiment. And it might get weird. But ultimately, I hope it's fun and loving and full of hope, like Mother's Day ought to be. But before we get to that, we get to celebrate some congregational expressions of fun and love and hope. And for today is the day that we announce our service awards as nominated by you, the congregation, and culminating in the prestigious Mary Siegel Award. So let's get to it. Now, each of these service award recipients will be given a certificate, and so we'll get that to you soon as an expression of the thanks of the congregation. So the service awards this year go to Erin McNeil for her ongoing assistance in the production team and her social media expertise. Also to Joy Silver, who is the chair of the Cares and Concerns team, and Barb Kroon, who served as chair for several months while Joy was unavailable. And the two of them have led their team in reaching out to so many people in our congregation by phone during the COVID-19 pandemic. We also want to recognize Sanford Osler for his heroic behind-the-scenes effort in recent years to bring our church on board with its current governance structure, including most recently to help us implement specific policies and develop procedures to go along with them. Our staff and board greatly appreciate his assistance and guidance. Also, Gail Lehman and Marcia Stevenson for their service this year on the two prongs of the transitions task force. So we had the hiring aspect of that transitions team, which is championed by Gail, and the party group championed by Marcia, and they have done an absolutely miraculous and wonderful job, as I hope to demonstrate soon with the various outcomes of their efforts being revealed. Also, Malcolm Mallory, who's actually here today with me for his ongoing assistance with the production team. Thank you, Malcolm. And for Robin Newton for serving as board president during this very challenging year of dealing with church conflict during a major global pandemic. That doesn't usually happen to all potential future board presidents. So just keep that in mind. And to Robin, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure partnering with you this year, and I appreciate your counsel and wisdom and good sense. Thank you all so much for the spirit of service you bring to this congregation. We are here because of you and the many others who contribute in big and small ways, including all those even watching right now. You're contributing to the health of this place, to the health of one another. Now, that said, the following two people received the most nominations by far. And because both have been entirely crucial for our community, that's not a surprise. And we are giving, therefore, the Mary Siegel Award to both of them. Plus, they're kind of a team. So, Cynthia Becker, for her tireless help in chairing the production team and helping to make our Sunday services beautiful. Oh my gosh. Also, for her help on the website. And then Ross Harvey for help in filming and live streaming the Sunday morning services, and for serving on the board during a very trying year. We give to you the Mary Siegel Award, and I'm just gonna show y'all. They've got their names already up there. We truly have a blessed community. It's amazing, and it's a real pleasure to be with you, even if we can't all be together at the same time. And let's hope and pray that that changes over the summer. So it's with deep appreciation and thanks that we recognize the important contributions to North Shore Unitarian congregation. Ross and Cynthia, I'd kiss you both, but you're not here. Lucky for you. And I won't get my vaccine for another week yet, so virtual hugs and very real hallelujahs. Now, before we get into the service further, I want to relay some extremely important CUC news that broke only yesterday. Like, folks, this is the first Sunday in months where I haven't had to finish it on a Saturday night or even a Sunday morning. So I get it all done on Thursday, like all done, wrapped up, bow on it and everything, this sermon. And then this news breaks yesterday. Normally I would pivot and maybe do a whole sermon on this, but because it's pretty big news, but I'm not going to do that today. So I'm just going to give you the news. Plus, I think it's an ongoing, unfolding story. But the idea here that I want to let you know about is that we now have an 8th principal. Yeah, in Canada, the CUC yesterday during the AGM voted the following principle into effect. And so the preamble is the same. We, the member of the congregations of the Canadian Unitarian Council, covenant to affirm and promote, and then the principle is individual and communal action that accountably dismantles racism and other oppressions in ourselves and in our institutions. So that was actually not on the agenda of the meeting, and it was brought to the floor via the processes that govern such things, and then it was voted on. So it was a little bit unorthodox the way that it unfolded, and that's actually gotten some pushback even from people who support the principle, but are a little bit concerned about the process. And I wasn't there, so I can't tell you much more about that. But to that point, Vida Ng, who's the executive director of the CUC, sent out an email this morning that reads, I quote, "I've read your responses, both the ones expressing delight and the ones expressing concern about the process. I'm in conversation and consultation with others and will bring back to you some options for proceeding. Your concerns tell me that you are passionate about process and content and that you will not be silent when something goes wrong. I am confident that our mutual commitments to equity and justice and to the democratic process will see us through together. Please be patient while we work this through." End quote. So that's my news anchor invitation for you this morning. That's kind of a big deal. And I have many feelings about it. Joy, concern, a little frustration, and hope. So anyway, we have embarked on this path a little bit sooner than I thought was going to happen as a tradition here in Canada, as a or institution up here in Canada. And we'll see how that unfolds. So breaking news. All right. Pivoting back to our theme this morning, I'd like to offer some justification of my aim by referring to the late religious historian from Cal Berkeley, Robert Bellah, who proposed that religion emerged from the evolution of play. It certainly takes imagination to craft ritual and render meaning as certainty proves elusive. And so today, we will continue that evolution of play. And yet out of that play, we hope, as religion hopes, to craft perception, meaning, and action. That is depth, meaning, and purpose. You see, today, we will be talking about and then actually attempting the act of spellcasting without a net. To open our minds to this perhaps unorthodox conception of things, I would like to put the question first to our SSA for the day, Leslie Gibbons. Leslie, have you ever, knowingly or otherwise, cast a spell on someone or something? Or has one ever been cast on you? And in either case, to what end? I wonder, dear readers, will this be a cautionary tale or something more resplendent? Leslie.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all in my mind's eye. And I assure you, this is not a cautionary tale. I would like to think some of it is resplendent anyway. I am not aware of ever casting a spell on anyone or anything that worked anyway. I know that in my adolescence, I certainly tried to cast my irresistible self spell on one or two boys, and I failed miserably. They seem to have magical powers of resistance. Perhaps boys are born with them. Perhaps it was my pink and blue hand-knitted striped sweater that my granny made for me that I insisted on wearing because I loved her. In retrospect, I see how striped sweaters of those colors might be spell breakers. Certainly worked for the boys in my class. But I certainly had spells cast on me. I have been bewitched, inexplicably drawn to certain people or things. I've been led astray, but in retrospect, I think sometimes I managed to do that all by myself. But when I first looked at my children, I was spellbound, and I still am, because babies are excellent spell weavers. I'm sure many of you have noticed that. When I first read Peter Matheson's book, The Snow Leopard, about a pilgrimage he took to Nepal after his wife died, or his transfixing book on the tree where man was born about Africa, I was spellbound into a need to see and hear and smell those countries and other places in the world. And that desire has stayed with me all my life. Books can be entrancing too. They can take you beyond reason to take actions without thought of danger or discomfort. It is an inexplicable desire. When I first realized that the brightest stars in the sky weren't necessarily the closest, when I really understood that we are simply stardust, astronomy and astrophysics cast its spell that has caused me to read whatever I can, no matter how little I understand, and no matter how impossible it is for me to explain anything that I've read. I just know that it's all a marvel. I just know that it's a mystery, and I want to know more. There's no rhyme or reason for it. No rhyme or reason for this lifetime fascination. I must be bewitched. When I first learned that the smallest particle in our universe was an atom, and then it wasn't. When I learned that quarks might be strings and that there's such a thing as dark matter, well, I was hooked. And when I realized that physics is rather like religion, at a certain point, past the math, you just have to have faith. Surely I have been spellbound by a great mystery. But the biggest spell, the one that cast the largest net over my life, happened when I was 15 and in high school, despite the boys. I loved English literature and I loved theater. In fact, I applied to theater school in New York, and I had high hopes of escaping to it until my parents found out and wove a counterspell that vaporized that hope. Too bad. But that's a digression. I was in a number of plays in high school, and in one in particular, a melodrama. The hero of the melodrama, I was Bertha, the sewing machine girl, the heroine. I know, improbable, but that's acting. The hero had to sweep me up in his arms, bend me over, and kiss me. I remind you, I was 15. I was a young 15. Safe to say that had never happened to me, and certainly hadn't happened to Bruce, who was playing our hero. He didn't actually know how to do that. So the director of the play, my English teacher, leapt onto the stage, swept me in his arms, bent me over, and put his face close to my face and pretended to kiss me. Wow. I have never forgotten the feel of his arms around me or his face close to my face. I can still feel it. Fortunately, 40 years later, I married him. And I can still feel it. He wove a spell over me when I was 15 that hovers and works to this day. That was the greatest spell of all. That's love. I don't know how to make spells work, and I don't know why some fail. But I know they can have power, and I know they can have a long-lasting effect. I know those spells can influence our decisions, inexplicably lead us to roads taken or not taken. So I don't think we should ever stop trying to weave them. There's always hope they may work. And if you're lucky, a spell will be cast over you.
Words have power. Not just descriptive power, they have power. They have influence. This is both unsurprising and frequently forgotten in a world that is perhaps full of them. Words have power on an emotional level. They can inspire and devastate, heartbreak, rile, and soothe. But much like the different levels of stories that we talked about last week, there is also a deeper level of influence conveyed by words. Not only can words shift our feelings, but they actually have the power to create and facilitate perception itself. Because of that, words have the power not only to mediate, but discover and expand relationship. And whereas reality is relationship, this ability is significant. In this way, words are a kind of magic. Artfully deployed, they cast a spell. Words are the gateway. They're the gateway into the most generative realities in the universe. But they are not the only one. Music, even simple rhythm, not to mention breath work, movement, meditation, medicines are all gateways into the spirit realm. But words bring the real out of the dream. They mediate into and out of the dreaming earth. The experience of that dream, be it called God, the Tao, art, Gaia, the metaphysical background of the world, or the universe, is often described as ineffable, meaning not describable in words. And this reminds me that words also make use of the space between words and convey meaning and often create perception by what they do not make explicit. But even in that case, it is the words that shape the empty space, facilitating that shared meaning. So words are powerful. Sometimes words can craft empty spaces between them that are also conveying meaning, right? And this leads us to the notion that it is not only in their definition, but in their arrangement that words affect the world. Rhythm, sound, association, and alliteration are all employed to bring even more potency to expression. Indeed, it is not only in their definition, but in the additional feeling produced by rhythm, sound, association, and alliteration that meaning is made and conveyed. In essence, a good spell has some musicality to it. Indeed, given that it is increasingly believed that music gave birth to language, it may even be that these musical elements are more profoundly essential and soulful than the informational sum of the definitions of the words comprising a sentence. In short, when the spell is cast, there is more going on than a dictionary could explain. It is possible that you do not even need to know or follow the words to feel the spell. I'm reminded here of vocalics, a juicy word I learned in religious studies undergrad. Vocalics are paralinguistic technique. That's an expensive phrase. That is, they communicate meaning with the voice, but without intelligible words. So think of the oft caricatured indigenous chants. Vocalics emanate from the cusp of language and song, from the cusp of the human and the dreaming from which all things emerge. That said, given that words have the ability to craft perception itself, and given that perception has no expression in all of its intricacies and values without, finally, words, then it is not a far stretch to understand that words arranged in a powerful and evocative, musically informed formula amount to the common conception captured in the notion of spellcasting. It is this that today we will both playfully and dead seriously endeavor to court. Spells are words deployed artfully to influence some subject. They are born of earnest relationship with one's contexts. They are born of an earthly mutuality that is often called spirit. They must be impassioned and skillfully articulated. They have intent. And I have found that they also may have a will of their own, born of that aforementioned mutuality. And so spells are necessarily collaborative. And of course, as I said, they have a subject. And today, that subject is you, us. Now, as I crack open this doorway, I am made immediately aware that I have overestimated my abilities. And yet I am bound by my intention and a promise made to you. And so I find myself in the crosshairs of the human and the divine dreaming, and can only ask for pardon as I slip through with earnest intent and a newly remembered humility. In truth, these are not actually crosshairs. They're just labeled that way by my anxiety. This nexus are connective tissues of mutual concern between the human and the dreaming ideal. They're communicative power lines that make me who I am in this moment, where you are also. May I proceed? I am here to do the good work of the people, the liturgy, to bring the infinite into the finite, the universal into the personal. I am here to learn how to do this, even as we do this, to learn even as we prophesy together in the realm of dream, and bring from there some future more loving and responsible than the present we have created from the past. For this, it will help if you are in a state of trance-like receptivity. Now, you can trust me, I hope. I have only your beauty in mind. That was a sign. Hopefully a confirming one. If you are game, I invite you to use the next piece of music as a meditation. Find an increasing depth to your breathing. Find the depth at which breathing begins to feel really good. And then try to maintain that rhythm of breath and that good, saturated feeling throughout the song. This is your time to prepare. I'll be back in a moment. By this spell, I seek to craft a course diverging from our current trajectory. And thus, I ask for all aid willing. If you are hearing this and have a heart to give this hope, I welcome it. And I welcome you to the crafting of a more beautiful immersion in our world. I welcome all help whose intent is earnest and humble and hopeful. Welcome all who are aware of the dangers here. As relationship peels us open, aware that not only through being peeled and open to essential messages from a mutual world will we be able to overcome, avoid, or transform the very danger it presents. And this is the state of love. And so we proceed together in this sonorous, blessed genesis of the reality that we wish to be. Grab hold and breathe. With your heart and mind, grab hold and open air yourself to the voluptuousness of being, each breath a mountain, spirit, ocean, where there is no extinguishment, but only the ever enfolding and emerging. Let go and drift on the wind of your conjuring. You, here, who have forgotten your way, covered your tracks, lost your divinity, and found yourself upon a cross of your own projection, your faith in perfection. Let it not be too late to find the divine is manifest in this wreckage, or not at all. Elsewhere too, but in the wreckage or not at all. So look there. The hardest to see is closest to hand, right here, right where you are, all wrecked and bent and cast aside and lonely, all fraught and riddled with the stings of our misdeeds and decay and impossible choices. Words we can't take back, hurled from the shards of a broken soul, your soul, cut and cutting. Your sleepless nights, your demons and lost gods, your own, you. Disappointing, disappointed and cut off, infuriated. It's not your fault. It's all your fault. Your face to face, none others. And in that mirror, the divine you thought buried. Look at me. The specifics of your fractures are not unfamiliar to the faces in the mirror of the world you see. They are indeed your initiation in a civilization who forgot how to perform it with purpose. The cost of our uncoupling. They are your many deaths. And you, still here, are their transcendence. You, still here, through them, are passage to the divine. When you look, when you reach out, you, still here, are the window into sorrow and love, honey and blood, regret and its hope. You are the hand reaching out from the tragic avalanche of your shotgun mind, the hand reaching through time to fingerprint the Son of the world soul. The Son of the world soul, reaching out to fingerprint the Son of the world soul with unvoiced lamentation. Exhale, beloved, you are arrived. Breathe in that light. Divide yourself from petty grievances and turn your face to the sun abiding and breathe. Its warmth is our wisdom. Its warmth is our wisdom, is our heart. Its rhythm, your shoulders and ribs flutter to its cadence found. Follow that rhythm. Our heart, light heart. Drop your mind into your sun-filled cardiac, like releasing a stone into a pool of light. Drop your mind down golden and see the world anew of old through gold. Cleansed of the vestiges of culture and accumulated misgivings, be undone from manipulation outside of deep relation. Return to the hum of a mutual integration of perception as messages and a community of care right here with you, all around you, all the time. And be at ease. Be at ease. In ease you will remember. Be limber. Move your mind like the grass growing and blowing in the breath of the earth and the light of our celestial circumstance. Like grass reaching for the same source that fills us and seeding the soil from which we spring. Move like that with your mind, in your heart, with all that you are. Move like that and you will open your heart to the giving world and you will be a gift. 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 You will be a gift unceasing. You will be a gift ever open, replenishing in the giving essence of this living world. Mutuality, spirality, understatedly resplendent with the capacity of the divine vine seeking the Son of the world soul. Gifts upon gifts, even unto and through death and departing. You will be a gift, your mind clear, your path not easy, but you easy on it. You will hear the voice you long to hear, calling you on, claiming you home. go. Tell you that just behind the scenes here, Ross is giving cues from his remote bunker someplace, and so he's sort of the director as we're proceeding through. And so like before I come on, and you're listening to music, before I come on, Ross is counting down and he's saying 10 seconds to prayer, 15 or 5 seconds to prayer, and I feel like I'm an astronaut about to blast off, which is somehow a little appropriate, I imagine. So I should also say that that spell, it was my first crack at anything like that, right? And it didn't really go as I had originally intended. I had set to cast a spell for us to have a vibrant future as a congregation, to feature a deep planetary connection and human compassion in our congregation. I had thought to cast for us a spell of meaningful resilience and justice and engagement. But the spell evidently wanted something somewhat different. It is as if to state things so specifically as I had initially wanted to would actually undermine them somehow. That's the sense that I got. For the necessary changes that I sought, for them to happen, it needed to happen at a more essential level, like in the same way that you have to, make sure that your soil is healthy before you plant the seeds, right? So we were working in the soil there. I don't know. I mean, I am, after all, learning and playing and exploring, and this was my first time knowingly doing this. With practice, we may improve. We shall see. For now, I invite you into a state of prayer, cousin to spells, but not quite the same thing. For here, there is some form of petition and thanks. And so we say, thank you, Son, for touching us. Thank you, Earth, for holding us. Thank you, water, for teaching us. And thank you, air, for connecting us. Today, I want to offer a prayer of gratitude for all the helpers in the world, for all those working for the health of humans and ecosystems, plants and animals, relationships, whether professionally, by hobby, or just out of familial love. Thank you for holding those relationships, for crafting those relationships, and for healing yourself and the world through engaging with them. This world is held together by people like you. And so we offer our deep gratitude to you. And we recognize that the icon under which you perform your tasks is that of the mother, the embrace, the selfless love of the mother. And so for all those who have touched us in that way, who have given us that kind of compassion and affection and support, we say thank you as well. Amen. Amen. Amen.
did it!
We are the North Shore Unitarians, and our mission is to empower people to live with greater depth, meaning, and purpose. And if this is one of your first times participating in our Sunday service from home, we'd love for you to say hi in the comment section. In this community, we celebrate people from all walks of life. No matter how you experience the sacred, no matter who you are or how you love and who you love, we hope and want you to feel welcome here. We're a busy congregation despite COVID restrictions, so please read your weekly e-bulletin. If you haven't already subscribed to it, you can do so by using the link on our website or by contacting our office. I also want to mention that all this information can be found on our website, and it's updated frequently throughout the week. There are a few things, however, that I'd like to draw your attention to this morning. Our featured art, and you can see some here. Our featured art includes 2 pieces by Lisa Ochowicz. And forgive me, Lisa, if I've said that incorrectly. I'm doing my best. They're called Kleinhawks 2 and Kleinhawks 9, and you can see her full display of paintings in our sanctuary or on our website. And our outreach recipient for May is SOS Children's Village BC, and they provide family-based foster care for children and youth in our communities. This includes support for caregivers, youth, kids through residential services, programs and support services, and wraparound care. And there are a number of ways that you can donate to them. Text giving allows you to pay by credit card, and the text is in our e-bulletin. E-transfers allow you to send by email, cash, of course, and checks through our office or through the mail. And there will be no youth group tonight in honor of Mother's Day. It'll resume next week. Now, if you're relatively new to our church and you would like to meet our minister, Ron, and say hello, you're invited to join Reverend Ron for an informal visit via Zoom at 4 o'clock on Sunday, May 30th. Bring your favorite beverage and be prepared to take a humorous look at what your favorite beverage says about your theology. I'm a whiskey girl myself. What does that say? All questions are welcome. Register using the link in your e-bulletin or contact Janie in the church office. Now, the deadline for contributing photos and letters and cards to Lynn's retirement memory book and slideshow is May 15th. It's coming up. So please email digital copies, email them to linfest@northshoreunitarians.ca, be sure to use the S, or mail physical copies to the church office, and Janie will take care of it. Send us pictures of you with flowers by June 1st. We'll include them in our flower communion service on June 6th. That used to be so lovely here in the sanctuary when we all brought flowers and shared them, but we have to do it differently this year. Email your pictures to pics@northshoreunitarians.ca. Thank you for your participation in our activities, for your generosity in all you do and all you give to our community. We hope you found today's service meaningful and that you'll join us again. Now I'll turn this over to Ron, who will extinguish the flame.
Single malt or mixed?
Oh, single malt.
Single malt. Okay, so you'd be like a monotheistic Welsh-derived person. All right.
Thank you
So
for understanding.
you're in a hermitage hut up there in on the moors or in the highlands or something.
Highlands, and I
Okay.
expect a contribution.
Okay, expect a contribution. All right. Well, let's extinguish our chalice, but we carry with us the light of vision and the warmth of hope. The world calls us to live with depth, meaning, and purpose, and we go forth with courage and love. And now, if you would all rise in body or spirit, know that you are right now connected through time with everyone watching this. So if you're watching this later, if you rise in body or spirit now, you're here with us in this moment, wherever this moment may be. Rise in body or spirit for the benediction as we leave this sacred place that we have crafted together with our intent and our technology and our hopes and dreams and actions. Let us go forth feeling our connection with each other and with the mutual world that we inhabit. Let us feel the spell of the earth surrounding us and working on us, calling us forward into deep relationship with it and each other. Let us go in peace and let us go singing.